Welcome to Last Week in Warframe, a series where I keep you updated on the past week of Warframe, from announcements made by DE that don't necessarily warrant their own videos to community fan art posts and updates. So without further ado, let's go over these announcements and news from the 14th to the 20th of July. Last week we had the Prime Vault going live on all platforms, and of course the relics and relic locations are up on your screen. Like usual, if you want to purchase the packs from the Prime Vault page on the Warframe website, the links to that are in the description. For the launch of the Prime Vault on PC, we had Hotfix 25.3.3 and 3.3.1. that added polish and improvements to relays, including increased elevator speeds, markers for syndicate rooms, and more, alongside updating the visuals of the Larunda relay. They've also optimized the performance of friends list behavior under the hood, and the gift button will only appear on items in the market that cost platinum. They also made a Nightwave fix where DE said, "A bug existed in the progress tracking and completion status of recovered acts. If a repeat act appeared, this would cause it to be already completed immediately when they appear in the UI and prevent players from earning their associated standing reward." The rest of the fixes for this hotfix are up on your screen. Now, Xbox One and PS4 had a hotfix to launch the Prime Vault as well, and the fixes for that followed. An issue with the gear spiral not always being accurate on a controller, Arlo's devotees can no longer spawn in their simulacrum, devotees showing up in the Mastery rank tests, and crashes caused by the Fluctus's visual effects. The Nintendo Switch, you also had a hotfix to launch the Prime Vault, and just like the Xbox One and PS4 fixes, you also had the following fixes to perfect captures not always giving credit for a Nightwave act when it should, and an issue where challenge progression would erroneously give credit for uncompleted challenges when in your orbiter. Next up for PC, we had update 25.4, which introduced the Quatz Collection. This collection includes the new secondary weapon, the Quatz. It has 2 firing modes, and they are tied to your ADS. If you fire the gun while you're hip firing, it'll be automatic, and if you fire it while aiming, it'll be semi-automatic. It also has a unique reload where it will dispel a charge of electricity on a nearby enemies. Also in the collection is the Anthus, the Galvanic Armor, Amphor Sindana, Amphix Combat Armor, and the Amphats Kubrau Armor. This update also introduced the Domestic Drone Bundle and Shorzin Decoration. As for the changes and additions made, Arc Gun ammo has been added to the Simulacrum pickup area, combat markers for enemies in Arcwing and Submersible modes have been visually updated, and now update their awareness and fills depending on their state, and they had also improved the teleporting volumes in the Corpus Outpost and Shipyard tile sets. They also updated us on the Nightwave fix from the previous PC hotfix, saying, "We released a fix for a Nightwave bug that prevented proper tracking of acts. This is part 2 of that. Today's fix retroactively provides missing Nightwave standing to players affected by the issue we fixed Tuesday." They also added the following about Maru and Clem weekly missions. Eligibility for the Get Clem and Maru I-10 treasure hunt missions now reset at midnight, Monday each week, same as Nightwave, instead of an arbitrary 7-day cooldown from whenever you last completed them. This ensures you have a chance to complete the missions within the weekly refresh of Nightwave. The fixes for update 25.4 are also up on your screen. Now next we had DE Taylor releasing a notice that the try count has been increased for Tennogen created helmets, so for those who are making Tennogen content, bit of information. The following comments from DE are in regards to Tennogen creation and creators. "A lot has changed in Warframe in the past 3.5 years that Tennogen has been around, including more complex helmets and Warframes. So to reflect the added complexity, including effects and cloth details, have with Warframes like Revenant and Wisp, we are increasing the alt helmet try count from 5,000 to 8,000. The guides have been updated, so this change is in effect immediately." Now, in response to that statement, we also had DE Syncrasis replying, saying the following to Tennogen creators. "We have put a lot of careful thought and research into this polygon limit increase. As the game has grown and evolved, we've seen many complex new Warframes join the ranks, with helmets that have flowing cloth, moving parts, and intricate forms pushing the polygon count higher and higher. While other categories of items have been kept fairly consistent in their polygon counts throughout the years, the Warframes themselves have grown in complexity. We feel it's time to increase the limit on helmets so Tennogen creators can see their own creations grow the same way. This isn't to say that efficient topology of your low poly creations is any less important. In fact, the opposite is true. Regardless of your design, you are still expected to create a game-ready asset for Warframe. Please pay attention to the character's polygon density and use that as a guide for how small your polygons should be. Remember to do test bakes often and zoom out to view creations at an in-game distance to see if that tiny bevel leading into an even tinier emissive light is absolutely necessary. Get rid of low poly detail where your design never breaks the silhouette as you turn the piece, and let the normal map do the work on those parts. Every polygon should represent a significant change in surface direction. Make each one count. We will be looking over each helmet's low poly model with great care when we are testing pieces that are close to acceptance, so that we can help you reduce polygons in places where they are too dense or not needed. This especially applies to pieces with higher polygon counts. Please keep this in mind when designing a cohesive piece, as excessive embellishments are usually not necessary to communicate a strong base design. Auto-remeshing tools should be avoided, as they tend to create topology that violates a logic of edge flow and polygon efficiency. For example, such tools don't understand where the bottom connection point of a helmet is, and might create a very dense mesh there that will never be seen. I can't tell you what details are important to the silhouette of the piece, or where you might want a certain density edge flow or cloth. It's always good to learn how to create good topology by hand for maximum efficiency. Next up on Reddit, Twitter, and the forums, DE announced that the Armor bundle released in Update 25.4 would have its color channels adjusted based on feedback. Next up was the announcement on the forums, first by DE Sarah, who said the ability to toggle Umbra parts from Excalibur Umbra would be coming soon, saying the following. Thanks to everyone for all the feedback on this in the past year, and although delayed, we would like to take the time to address what is a slightly tricky topic. We understand the frustration of the current inability to better customize Excalibur Umbra's fashion, and the inconsistency this frame has faced in comparison to others. In the past, our rule of thumb has been to allow the Prime frames to have toggle options for Tennogen, as Tennogen artists do not have the Prime models to work with. While fashionable, Umbra's overrides take away from overall potential looks of this unique frame when combined with other skins. We would like to provide the option to toggle Umbra's scarf and crescents on and off, and here's how we're going to do it. On skins, the Umbra details will now be off by default, and you will be able to toggle these on as you so choose. As Excalibur Umbra has not followed the true Prime frame rules, this process has been a bit complex, but we have used the tools that we have available to make this work. When you see toggle Prime details on Excalibur Umbra, know that it means stuff and stuff. Hope you enjoy the change. Rebecca added a display of this function on Twitter with the following caption. One of our awesome programmers has spent some time working on a big community request, a toggle for Umbra's details on skins. We are hoping to ship this soon pending some edge case issues. Two players had asked some questions, and both of those received a no sorry response. The first was interesting, so this means that other frames will be able to have this button and get scarves too, please? And the second, can we eventually have a toggle just for the scarf? Would love to keep the scarf on deck skin, but not the rest. XD. Next, for those interested in Warframe's contest, Helen's announced the frame-by-frame contest where you have to choose a frame from the recent new player intro cinematic and recreate it within the game. When we talk about frames, we're talking about actual video frames, not Warframes. The prizes include a Wukong Prime Access and Platinum, and rules and more information can be found on the forum post. For developer Twitter posts this week, the first was from DE Pablo, who showed off a new UI for the Warframe customization color selector screen with the ability to move around your favorite colors in the tabs, saying, "We are making color picker use themes, and we added a long-standing request allowing to rearrange the colors." A player had also responded to this, asking, "What place is in mission UI is at? I would love an overhaul to HB energy buff section so that you don't have to switch your focus from the center of the screen all the way to its corners to see how your teammates are doing." Where Pablo said, "We are not changing the HUD soon, and once we do it, we'll likely still be in the corners." There were also a number of tweets from Steve. The first was about Squad Link, saying, "Squad Link isn't just about ship and ground. We had another moment with solo player participating that we had to cut for time. Our goal is interesting opt-in squad solo cooperation across mission types and tiles, old and new. Might be our weirdest, most challenging feature stretch yet." One reply to this was, "I'm really worried about the bottlenecking situation this may create. What happens when one side of Squad Link missions are more popular and rewarding than the other half? Does the side of the popular half just sit there for half an hour?" Steve replied, "Part of the challenge we face for sure." Another response was, "Will Squad Link work between regular mission types? Say a group in survival and a squad on spy?" Steve replied, "Yes." As for his other tweets, I'll link them down below because they're all technology-based, terminology and all that stuff. Don't really know what it means myself, and there's a lot of threads about it. Links are in the description if you are interested in the behind-the-scenes development of Warframe. Our last tweet this week was from DE George, and he had another video of audio, this time saying, during the crazy rush to Tennogen, managed to make this quick behind the scenes of some of the new Empyrean. Anyway, I'll play that for you now. Now that does conclude this episode of Last Week in Warframe. If you found the video informative, make sure to leave a like. If you think I can improve upon the series in any way, shape or form, comments are down below. Glyphs up on your screen, 15 for each platform. If someone has already redeemed them, you can't get it, pretty self-explanatory. Missed out on last week's episode, annotation on your screen, click that, go watch it, do what you want. Thanks for watching.